शालिनी, am I audible? यही चेक हो जाना चाहिए। शालिनी, oh my God, देवेंद्र नरेन सिंह is waiting in the lobby. शालिनी को पूछो मेरा आवाज क्यों नहीं जा रहा है, फोन करना पड़ेगा उसको।
Ma'am, it's coming.
Okay, हाँ, you replied so late, we got worried. मनीष भाई की आवाज आ रही है शालिनी?
हाँ आ रही है मैम।
अच्छा, तो आज ठीक है। अच्छा, और शालिनी एक मिनट,
मैम आपका क्लियर इको आ रही है।
शालिनी बोलो तो, शालिनी बोलो तो।
हेलो मैम।
ये तो नहीं होना है।
मैम
शालिनी आप बोलो, क्या बोल रही हो वीडियो
मैम
के लिए?
हेलो मैम, आपकी आवाज एको हो रही है।
हाँ बोलो शालिनी।
नाउ इट्स ओके।
नहीं शालिनी, एको तो बंद हो जाएगा बिकॉज अल्पा मैम एंड मनीष भाई दे आर नॉट पुटिंग ऑन हेडफोन्स।
ओके बट मैम आपकी वॉइस क्लियर नहीं
ओके
मैम, वॉइस भी क्लियर नहीं है।
Power on. Pairing. Connected.
Manishma, am I audible? Not like this, but on this. Good morning, one and all. Am I audible clearly?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir. So, good morning, all distinguished guests, eminent speakers, respected principal madam, head of all the departments, faculty members, dear participants and students. I, Poonamai Modi, Assistant Professor, Applied Mechanics Department, LD College of Engineering, would like to extend a warm welcome to one and all who are present here for the inaugural function of this short-term training program, Recent Trends in Environmental Geotechnics for Sustainable Development. The Department of Applied Mechanics feels extremely privileged for having organized this STTP, which is approved by DTE and IST and under the aegis of Indian Geotechnical Society, Ahmedabad Chapter, Institution of Engineers India, and sponsored by Gujcost, IGS and IEI. For today's inauguration function, we have amidst us the august presence of our chief guest and keynote speaker of the day, Dr. Devendra Naren Singh, Institute Chair Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Bombay. Our patron of the STTP, Dr. Rajul Gajjar, Principal LDC. Our guest of honor, Dr. Amit Prashant, Professor of Civil Engineering and Dean of R&D at IIT Gandhinagar, as well Chairman of IGS, Ahmedabad Chapter. Convener of this one-week-long STTP, Major Dr. C.S. Sanghvi, Professor and Head Applied Mechanics Department, LDC. Our august guest, Dr. R.B. Khassia, Professor and Head Civil Engineering Department, LDC. STTP coordinators, Dr. Manish Shah, Professor Alpa Shah, and Professor Shalini Singh, Assistant Professors at Applied Mechanics Department, LDC. This STTP is most relevant in the present time, taking into consideration the rapid industrialization resulting into heaps of hazardous waste that is mostly disposed in unscientific and haphazard manner. The latter poses a multitude of problems such as stability issues of waste dumps, segregation and disposal of waste, timely remediation of contaminated land sites. Now, in order to tackle all these issues, it calls for a synergistic collaboration between the professionals involved in geotechnical engineering, environmental engineering, geology, and waste management. To this aim, this one-week online STTP has been organized by the department, wherein eminent speakers hailing from prestigious academic, industrial, as well as government organizations have been invited to contribute and deliberate more on these crucial issues through their insightful sessions throughout the week. Having said that, I once again extend a very heartfelt welcome to one and all present here. And may I now request Professor Dr. Manish V. Shah, Coordinator of STTP, to give us a short briefing of STTP and its objectives. And I would just like to add that it is only due to the ceaseless effort which is put in by Dr. Shah and his team that today this STTP is seeing the light of the day. Over to you, Dr. Shah.
Thank you, madam.
Manish, you are muted.
Manish, Dr. Shah, please unmute your mic. Come.
Yeah. Good morning to all the distinguished guests, the eminent speakers, and dear participants. It's my pleasure to introduce the brief objective of this STTP. The prime objective of this STP is to disseminate the concepts, the basic concepts, the knowledge, and the new trends or the new current practices which has been followed in the environmental geotechnics. Actually, presently India has been, I can say, running into a stage where on one side we are heading towards the manufacturing hub or made in India logo, and on the other side, lot of new products, or let us say a lot of new manufacturing facilities are also coming into picture. No, it is not only the waste generation which is now creating a problem, or its segregation, or its treatment, or in the form of remediation, we can say. Actually, now as the environmental geotechnics is heading, or it is spreading its multiple branches, a lot of perspective has been emphasized on the need that how this waste can be really treated or really can be dumped or really can be reused some or the other form in various civil engineering applications or even its alternate applications. So looking to this STTP was planned in a such a way that we all have the what I mean to say, the various aspects of environmental geotechnics is covered under one umbrella, and we all get the opportunity to learn and hear from all the distinguished and well-rich experienced speakers regarding the new policies also which are coming in solid waste management, or with respect to the new trends or the new techniques which have been developed in environmental geotechnics. So thank you all once again, and thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Shah, for that crisp briefing. Moving on, I'll now request convener of the STTP, Major Dr. C.S. Sanghvi, to deliver the welcome address. I would like to say that it is only because of Sir's able guidance and consistent motivation that the Department of Applied Mechanics is able to take up such endeavors. Over to you, sir, for the welcome address.
Very good morning to all of you. Respected D.N. Singh sir, it is our pleasure that you have accepted our invitation and to deliver a keynote address on this occasion. I welcome Dr. Amit Prashant, the chairman IGS Ahmedabad, for accepting invitation to remain present as a guest of honor. Our principal ma'am, Dr. R.K. Gajjar, who is always a source of inspiration to carry out such academic activities. I welcome all the participants on behalf of Applied Mechanics Department, LD College of Engineering, because without you, this STTP is not possible. As far as Applied Mechanics Department is concerned, the Applied Mechanics Department is basically dealing with the geotechnical engineering, structural engineering, concrete technology, and as a part of this, it was decided that we have to conduct short-term training programs to upgrade the knowledge. As a part of it, this is the first program we have planned. Earlier, we have completed the FDP, Atal FDP on earthquake engineering, earthquake resistant design and construction practice. And this is on the same line of action. This is the second STTP on recent trends in environmental geotechnics for sustainable development. If you look at this is the very important STTP, and from the present perspective, because these topics are generally not included at the undergraduate studies or postgraduate studies most of the time, and therefore this is a topic we have to address very carefully and very precisely. Therefore, this STTP is planned, and in the same line of action, the department is going to carry out many more such STTPs, which is already planned. We have another STTP in the month of June. It is on it is planned on novel advances in sustainable ingredients of construction. Then we have also planned other STTPs also. There is a disaster management and also the other FTPs. So it is a really a wonderful thing that our coordinators, Dr. M.V. Shah, Professor A.J. Shah, and Shalini, has put a lot of effort, and we have invited experts from this domain, and they have given a consent to deliver the session on their expertise. So I'm thankful to all of them. I'm not going to take more time, but the applied mechanics department is along with this carrying out testing and consultancy testing consultancy services is offering to the professional bodies, and at the same time is also carry out various activities which is required for the overall development of the students. So once again, I invite all the dignitaries, D.N. Singh sir, Amit Prasad sir, Dr. Atle sir, and all the participants. Thank you very much for the joining this inaugural function. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I shall now request Dr. Rajul K. Gajjar, Principal Madam LDC and patron of this STTP, to deliver the inaugural address. Dr. Gajjar, being an avid researcher herself, is a strong proponent of industry-academia collaboration, and she constantly encourages each department to take up such programs that are in line with Institute's vision of creating value for both industry and society. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, Poonam.
Yeah.
A warm welcome to Dr. D.N. Singh, Dr. Amit Prashant, the experts, all my colleagues, Dr. Sangvi, Manish Bhai. It's great to meet up on different platforms, various platforms, and carry on this huge task, which I think all of us are stakeholders and part of. It's not just about FDPs. It's not just about faculty doing research. It's about ultimately coming out with some concrete steps, some outcomes which are sustainable, which will impact our environment, and therefore it's really great that all the great minds have spared their time and we are here together. To tell us more about the environment and the geotechnique and the sustainability part, it is a concern that we have to, if we don't stop right now and look at where we are going, there is every possibility that just as in the past, we might think we are doing good research and end up in a completely wrong direction. And therefore, I hold these webinars, these panels, very important as eye-openers in order for all of us to halt, to stop for a moment and decide where we are going. It is always very important that all of us put this across. In fact, these are cross-cutting domains. And therefore, I would also wish that this FDP would not end just as an FDP, but there are actions which come out of it. Maybe environmental department, maybe the other departments also would come across, and there would be some joint research, joint collaborations that are planned during these FDPs themselves, so that you are very sure that at least something is going to come out of this. And all the experts who are here, I'm sure, will always be there to guide you, to handhold you. Having said that about this FDP, I would also like to touch a little bit about where LD is going, because LD Engineering has had it's been fortunate to have more postgraduate courses than undergraduate courses. We have 14 undergraduate and 17 postgraduate courses. Very recently, we have been identified for the full-time doctoral fellowship program, and AICTE has given us this status. So now we are eligible to take full-time doctoral students in 12 of our disciplines. And therefore, I hold these interactions, these networking of much more importance, because now we have the capability of doing research, we have the capability of impacting the community and the society for which we are set out for. So I welcome all the dignitaries once again, and thank you very much. All the best to Team Applied Civil. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And thank you very much for setting the right tone. May I now request our guest of honor of today's inauguration session, Dr. Amit Prashant, to address the gathering. Dr. Amit Prashant is Professor of Civil Engineering and Dean of Research and Development at IIT Gandhinagar. He's currently the chairman of the Ahmedabad chapter of Indian Geotechnical Society and also member of the Board of Governors of SPNIT Surat. He has been actively involved in academic administration as chairman, SUGC at IIT Kanpur earlier, and for 6 years as Dean, Academic Affairs at IIT Gandhinagar. Sir was also appointed as officiating director of IIT Gandhinagar during July-September 2019. Sir has successfully completed many high-end field projects related to hill slopes, excavations, canals, ash dike, bridge foundations, barrage, etc. Sir believes in knowledge dissemination and has been coordinating a number of faculty development programs for last 6 years under the aegis of TechWhip scheme of Government of India for engineering colleges in country. It's a pleasure to have you here today with us, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. It is rather my pleasure and pleasure to see Professor D.N. Singh, who has done a lot of pioneering work in this area. What is the topic of this program? And I'm really grateful to Professor Singh and also to the team of LD College for taking such an initiative for such program. It is important to worry about how we are going to sustain over time. And there are two different aspects that we have to look at. One is how to survive with all the environmental challenges that are around, and also the practices that have to change with the materials, the procedures that we use for sustainable aspects. So, for example, use of local materials, locally available sustainable materials, besides the environmental aspects that we have to have designs for. So I will not take much time. I would rather say that the way LD College has, you can say, has been pioneer or has been leading in the past, and it is continuing its glory. And also the Professor Gajjar's leadership that we see in last couple of years, it is taking a lot of initiatives. And Professor Sanghvi, I think it's amazing to see the energy that is flowing around. So I'm really grateful to all the team of LD for coming up with several such programs, and also the important programs relevant to the society, relevant to the industry today. So I'm looking forward to this program, and I would say all the best to all the participants and all the team of LD College for please continuing such programs in future as well. And once again, I welcome Professor Singh, Professor D.N. Singh, and I'm really grateful to him for having joined us for this program and delivering his thoughts on certain aspects of that. So thank you again for having me here. I'm looking forward to the program.
Thank you so very much, sir, for the encouraging words. And of course, we are also looking forward to your expert lecture, which is there later in the week. Now, before I'll request our chief guest of today's inaugural session, Dr. D.N. Singh, to enlighten us with his address, as well as to share his viewpoint on this endeavor, which is taken up by the Department of Applied Mechanics, let me introduce this person of eminence to all of you. Dr. D.N. Singh is the Institute Chair Professor in Department of Civil Engineering at IIT Bombay since 1994. Sir's teaching, research and development activity encompasses almost all the possible diversified areas of geotechnical engineering. Sir has published 320 technical articles, of which 232 are in the referred journals. He has supervised 38 doctoral, 8 ongoing dissertations, and 35 master theses. He has been successful in filing 31 patents, out of which 9, including 1 US patent, have been granted. Sir has headed many sponsored projects from esteemed organizations such as Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, Department of Science and Technology DST TIFAC, All India Council of Technical Education, and Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. Sir was also instrumental in establishing a state-of-the-art environmental geotechnology laboratory in the department. Dr. Singh has been conferred with several prestigious awards, such as Excellence Contribution Award 2008, John R. Booker Excellence Award 2011, given by International Association for Computer Methods and Advances in Geomechanics, for his significant contribution in advancement of research, education, and practice of environmental geotechnology, and development of novel techniques to simulate contaminant transport in geomaterials under laboratory and in situ conditions. Sir has also received Richard Feynman Prize 2014 and Canadian Geotechnical Journal Fredland Award 2019 for his insightful research publications that has garnered highest number of citations. Dr. Singh is Fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineering, New Delhi, American Society of Civil Engineers, and Institution of Civil Engineers, ICE, London, UK. Sir, we feel extremely privileged to have your august presence today. May I now request Dr. D.N. Singh to address the participants. Over to you, sir. Dr. Singh, I think your mic
I'm
is...
sorry. Yeah. So good morning. Yes, good morning, everybody. And thank you very much for inviting me today to speak a few words in front of all those who have taught me this subject. In fact, my co-workers and the researchers who are going to speak in this STP program are my real gurus. I'm sure you will realize that these type of intricate subjects cannot be learned by individuals alone. And I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to also realize that how good my co-researchers are doing, because I see there is a big list of my co-researchers who are going to present their views on different topics, in the days to come. If I am allowed to share my screen, or I'll just speak it out. Can I share my screen, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, surely.
So I hope you can see this. So this type of organization has really helped me in speaking less and realizing more about what's happening in today's world and what my ex-co-workers are doing. So you are going to hear a lot of things from Dr. Hanumantrao, Dr. Shashank, Dr. Patil, Srideep, Dr. Jeevan Joseph, Dr. Uday Kala, Dr. Naidu, Dr. Ravi Ranjan Rakesh, and Asha, who has become now Dr. Asha, and of course, Professor Jayanti Pratyusha. So it's a delight to hear, what your ex-researchers or the co-researchers have to say about the subject. It's going to be a good learning experience for me. And today morning, I received an interesting WhatsApp message. I thought I'll just share it with you. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, perfectly, sir. It's visible, sir.
So it's an interesting, very motivating story. A cleaner in the aircraft sees a book, and then it's how to fly an aeroplane for beginners. And he opens the first page of the book, which says that you press a button. So to start the engine, press the red button. And then the moment he presses the red button, the engine starts. Then he went on to the second page. And then he realized what's written over there is turn on the movie, press the blue button. So out of curiosity, he presses the blue button also. And to his surprise, the plane started moving. So he was very curious and he wanted to fly. So again, he went to the book, opened the third page, and we said, let the airplane fly, please press the green button. So out of curiosity, again, he presses the green button. And then you know what's going to happen. He was quite excited. After flying for some time, he realizes that he has to land. To his surprise, when he went to the 4th page of the book, he realizes to be able to know how to land a plane, please purchase volume 2 at the nearest bookshop. Now, this is what the state of the affairs is. Like moral lessons, never attempt anything without complete information. So I was contemplating on this. My intention of showing you this video was that there are few things which have to be done by the individuals. I welcome these short-term courses and crash courses, but unfortunately it so happens that many times people think that this is a sort of a information in the capsule which can be just swallowed to make life simple. This motivating story which I got today morning, I thought of sharing with you, gives an idea that today's science and technology has become extremely intricate and challenging. And one has to involve himself or herself completely. It takes about 20-25 years to be involved in the R&D to come out with something saying that, yes, this is what my contribution is. Unfortunately, I'm seeing a hurry. People are trying to move forward in a very, very high speed. And this could be accidental. So I'm sorry to use these words in the inauguration session, but these are the words of caution. And I'm sure that those of you who are aware of my straight talks would not take it otherwise, but this could be a wake-up call, and it should be taken in a positive stride. I look forward to listen to my fellow speakers, and it would be a very interesting, exercise as far as I'm concerned, to evaluate and to understand and to learn from whatever they're going to speak and how effective our association has been in the past. Thanks a lot once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, sir, for gracing the occasion and blessing us with your enlightening words. Moving on, may I now request Professor Alpa Shah to kindly deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Poonam. I feel honored and privileged as I have been entrusted with this task of proposing a vote of thanks on occasion of inaugural ceremony of STTP. First and foremost, on behalf of the Department of Applied Mechanics, I extend my sincere thanks to Chief Guest of today's function, Dr. D.N. Singh, who in spite of his busy schedule, blessed this occasion with his august presence. I express my heartfelt thanks to our guest of honor, Dr. Amit Prashant, for gracing the occasion. We heartily thank Honorable Principal of LD College of Engineering, Dr. Aarti Gajjar. She has been always a force of motivation and inspiration for such events. I thank Major Dr. C.S. Sanghvi, Professor and Head of Applied Mechanics Department, for keeping faith in us in his continuous support and guidance. I mention my thanks to all faculty members and student volunteers for their consistent support. I, on behalf of Applied Mechanics Department, would like to sincerely thank Guj Cost, IGS, and IEI for the financial assistance extended by them on organizing this STTP. I mention my thanks to Director of Technical Education, DT Gujarat, and Indian Society for Technical Education, ISTE, for providing us kind approval. I would like to thank all the participants of this STTP for having registered, and we look forward to their kind cooperation throughout the week. I express my gratitude towards Almighty for making today's occasion a resounding success. I once again like to thank all the guests, participants. We hope that you will find this training to be an invaluable addition to your stock of knowledge. Thank you. Thank you once again. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. I would request all the participants to stay tuned as we shall now be kick-starting this STTP with the very first segment, that is the keynote lecture to be delivered by our chief guest, Dr. D.N. Singh. Over to you, sir, for your keynote address.
So thank you very much once again. Dr. Shah contacted me a few days back and he wanted me to speak on environmental geotechnics. And he also sort of posed a condition that I should be talking about how this discussion or this subject or topic evolved in the due course of the time. So I thought that this is a good point in this time that I should be analyzing myself, what I have done, where I am, what I should be doing. So I chose this topic. I took the liberty, environmental geotechnics and introspection, what I have been doing, what I have done so far, and what is the way forward for myself. And in the process, some of you might get involved and we can move forward further. It's going to be a slightly philosophical talk because it's not easy for me to share the knowledge which has been created in almost about 23 years. Basically, I take this opportunity to contemplate three things: research, practice, and future perspectives. And when I say so, the research is something which should be a retrospection, what we have been doing, what we did yesterday, what I'm going to do today, and where I would be tomorrow. And having done a lot of research, one has to realize whether the research is lying still in the bookshelves or the library, or this can be taken to the practice in real life. This is where somehow we are lacking. We are lagging behind as compared to several nations. The practice of whatever we have done has not been taken into the field. And we get a thorough beating from the administrators when we demand something from them in this context. So practice for me is the present status, where we are exactly. And of course, the future perspectives are the way forward. So this becomes a very interesting combination of RPF. That is, you do retrospection of what you have been doing so far, what is the present status, and what is the way forward. I wish to draw your attention to the web page where I would be using quite a lot of this. I hope you can see my web page. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you just type DN Singh on the Google, you might be landing up on my web page, and you will realize that a very comprehensive picture of whatever I'm going to talk about is presented in the editorials which are written by different colleagues in my journal, Environmental Geotechnics. And this journal I initiated about 10, 11 years back, instigated by one of my PhD scholars who happens to be a speaker in this course, Dr. Uday Kala. And this journal is going to be a treatise of what's happening in the field of environmental geotechnics. So my first suggestion would be, please refer to this journal, and you will find that each volume and each issue of the journal is edited by the leading experts in the country, in the world. And this is in the form of the editorial. So in my opinion, the subjects like environmental geotechnics, which are evolving every day, and that's the reason that you will not be finding a book on this topic so far. But the best way to keep yourself abreast in terms of time would be to see what these experts are going to write. So those of you who really want to learn this subject should be reading at least editorials which are freely available on the web page. And we are into the 8th volume, issue 1 of this journal. The second thing which I would like to talk about here is what has been the journey so far, my research interest. Basically, I have spent enough time understanding the methodologies, creating different types of techniques, different type of methodologies, how to utilize them for geomaterial characterization. So you may say that I could only do about 20% of what is really required in this subject, environmental geotechniques. I was lucky enough to characterize geomaterials by using mechanical, chemical, thermal, electrical, nuclear, biological characteristics or characterization schemes. And this is where we also came out with this idea of defining the geomaterial first of all. And we define this material as a naturally occurring material or anthropogenic materials. So some of my PhD scholars who have worked on anthropogenic geomaterials, they will be talking about this in the due course of time. Dr. Sushmita Sharma, Dr. Professor, I think there are a lot of people who are going to talk about this municipal solid waste. Municipal solid waste for us is an anthropogenic material. Naturally occurring sediments or the soils are the ones which you are dealing with. So the story started like defining the soil contaminants, and we wanted to quantify soil contaminant interaction, sorption, desorption. Dr. Pankaj Pathak has been an excellent researcher in this subject. Dr. Ravi Ranjan Rakesh, who is going to talk about the nuclear waste and how it reacts with the soil, finding out sorption, desorption. Professor Shrideep, he has done a lot of work in the field of soil contaminant interaction. Similarly, Dr. Naidu, who happens to be one of the speakers, he is going to talk about this. And of course, Dr. Hanumant Rao, who also talked about soil contaminant interaction, Dr. Kadali Srinivas, and so on. The second aspect on which we have spent a lot of time is the industrial byproducts, because the title of your short-term course is Sustainable Development. So we started working on industrial byproducts. The industries are producing the product, which is known as good product. Like say thermal power plant produces energy, electricity, all right? This is a good product. But at the same time, these thermal power plants are producing a lot of ash. And this ash can be termed as a bad product. Now we have to optimize good products versus bad products and in the whole process, a lot of materials are being used which are coming from the earth, so we can call them as geomaterial. Here we talk about zeolites. My students like Dr. Kole, Bhagwan Jha, and Naveen Koshi. I mean, they have spent a lot of time synthesizing fly ash in the zeolites and then using them for different environmental applications. The current research theme is the bauxite residues, which is the red mud, which is bothering industries, coal washery rejects, different types of slags, and by using these materials, creation of permeable reactive barriers. So solid waste has been a hit topic in our research area or research group, and I'm sure you are going to hear Dr. Patil. Dr. Agnes did a lot of work in this area, and my present students are working in the field of municipal solid waste and utilizing the different components of the municipal solid waste, creating the composites that can be used for infrastructure development in the sustainable manner. We have been involved with the design and development of sensors for soil moisture. My student, Dr. Susha Lakshmi, she did excellent work in the field of design of MEMS sensors, and Dr. Vijay, who also did nanosensors for soil moisture detection. We have been using impedance spectroscopy, piezoceramic elements, which was spearheaded by my student, Dr. Prasad Bartakke, and of those, Professor Anjan Patel. So these are the people who have done a lot of work in this field, and I'm sure if you go back to the literature and search it, you will find their contributions have been very seminal. We have also been working in the field of dredging and mining. Mining of sediments from the sea or the lakes or the river bodies, and mining from the onshore areas from where the minerals are taken out. And some very exciting projects are being done by my research group right now, which are definitely very challenging. and I'll just give you a glimpse of what's going on. We are of late involved in energy geotechnics also. This is a very hot topic, but before we enter into the domain of energy geotechnics, which is not so easy to handle, we have been working in the field of synthesization and characterization of gas hydrates. And this subject was initiated by my PhD scholars, Dr. Sayam and Dr. Jeevan Joseph, and I see Dr. Jeevan Joseph is one of the speakers for this STP course, so I'm sure you will be benefited from this discussion. And later on, Dr. Vikas Sharma, who contributed a lot in this subject by studying the multi-phase of the geomaterials when they freeze. So a big question in my mind and our research group's agenda has been if I can capture how the multi-phases get created inside the geomaterials. And multi-phases can be created by injecting different types of gases and by forcefully pressurizing them or lowering down the temperature so that the gases gets captured in the form of the crystals of ice, which might be containing gases. And this is what the synthesis would be. I mean, this is how the nature does. The bacteria which is present in the sediments creates methane gas, different types of gases, and these gases get trapped in the sediments because of very high temperature, very low temperature and very high pressure. We have been working in the field of frozen soils also, and my students are trying to synthesize setups in this domain. It's not a very easy topic to work on. We have been doing things in the field of heat migration through geomaterials. And the knowledge which we obtained from heat migration through geomaterial has been used by nuclear industry and the cable industry, how to transmit high amplicity current from one point to another point under the buried condition, as well as different type of storage of hydrocarbons in the caverns, underground caverns. And so basically these activities were revolving around geotechnical characteristics, how these geotechnical characteristics or the performance of the material is going to get changed because of mechanical, chemical, thermal, electrical, nuclear, and biological processes. And this is where, when I talk about the biological characteristics, my special thanks are due to Dr. Asha and Meenu, and Dr. Soumya and Dr. Shashank, who happens to be one of the speakers for the seminar, for introducing these subjects to me. Because frankly speaking, as a civil engineer, I never ventured into the biological processes and the biomechanics of the systems, which is becoming a state of the art in today's geotechnical engineering. So those of you who really want to realize the domain of environmental geotechnics, I think this is a good framework to begin with. What has been done, what is being done, and what should be done. So this type of information gives you impetus to get up from your bed every day morning and go to the laboratory, start sincere research, and fix up your aims to come out with the solutions which the society requires from us. If you visit my website, you'll realize that most of the information, like who has done research on what topic and what has been the synopsis of the thesis, is already presented on my webpage, along with the email address. The whole idea of introducing the email address on the webpage of each of these researchers was that please feel free to contact them because these are the guys who have done wonders, who have come out with the excellent papers, patents, state-of-the-art reports, and technology demonstration and development. So these are the gurus, one can think of adopting and following their work, which has been done in this style. Now, for the guys who have not, who could not attend my lecture in 2018 December, which was the special lecture, they call it as invited lecture. Indian Geotechnical Conference every year invites researchers for delivering the special lectures. I delivered a lecture during 2018. And in this lecture, I have tried to sum up, do an introspection of whatever I have done since 1994 to 2018. So I would suggest that you can visit this website and you can see the movie which I have kept there intentionally so that the information transmission takes place quickly. And you will realize that there I have spoken out from my heart, and I have several issues, in my mind, which I have spoken, which I have listed, and which I have put up in front of the young researchers, like whatever we could not do should young researchers. In short, this is where I'm heading to, the challenges which I am handling right now along with my co-workers are thermohydromechanical processes that occur in geomaterials. And these processes are extremely useful for the commercial activities, particularly in the field of oil and gas production, oil storage, designing of, let's say, thermal barriers for different types of conditions. So when we talk about THMC, thermohydromechanical chemical processes, thermal consolidation becomes a very, very important and challenging task. So one of my PhD scholars, he was very active in doing this work, and he tried to work on this topic, though it was not a very big success. And we were talking also about here heat migration and the coupled phenomena, which can be linked with heating of the sediments. This researcher is Dr. Padma Kumar, and he initiated such studies in my laboratory. The whole idea was that if you are storing chemicals or the hydrocarbon oils on the foundation system, so conventional geomechanics does not talk about how heat migrates into the geometry and causes thermal consolidation. That's a good example. And this is a very practical problem which most of the oil companies are facing. The second topic on which my fellow colleagues have worked is industrial byproducts for sustainable infrastructure development, which I talked about, and you are going to listen a lot about what these people have done, hopefully, from horse's mouth. That is valorization of legacy waste. And this is where we created landfill mine soil-like fractions. And I'm sure most of the landfill operators in the country are now going for landfill mining. And this is something which we created at LFMSF. And the question is where to use this LFMSF for sustainable development. And those of you who have been following my talks related to sustainable development at different forums would realize that this is a big challenge. I'm trying to sensitize the government of India also to create policies in this context. The municipal plastic waste, which is coming out of the legacy waste, what to do with this? And most of the cities are poised for landfill mining, including Ahmedabad, I'm aware of, where the moment land reclamation would be done, a big question would be where to dispose the plastic which is getting generated from the mining operation. How are we going to use it? So some of my students are handling this issue at this moment. Socio-economically generated sediments, biosolids. This is the work which is done by Dr. Sushmita Sharma. And we call it as SEGS, something interesting we named as. Of course, valorization of industrial byproducts is related to my mission IBPs, which if you go to the website and my website, you will see that there is a mission IBP link which I have provided, and you can register yourself if you are interested in working on mission IBPs. We are talking about fly ash, red mud, slags, rubber waste, and so on. The issue is a lot of R&D has been done in the laboratory. Field demonstrations are not so many, and policies are absolutely missing. And how to create circular economy, so that people get employment, and we can create a marketplace where my red mud your slag can be utilized for creating something more interesting. So this is where the concept of man-made soil also comes in the picture, how to neutralize these active materials. Dr. Hanumantrao is working in this area quite a lot, mineralization, bioaugmentation of the industrial byproducts, and I'm quite happy that he has taken initiative in this subject. Incidentally, this activity has become a part of CCUS, which I'm sure some of you must be aware of. This is the first time India has joined the club of ACT. That is the Accelerating Carbon Technology. There's a big initiative of some 15, 16 countries in the world. And India has joined this club this year, last year in fact. And there were recent calls related to carbon capture, utilization and storage. I am in discussion with some offshore platforms where we would like to handle the depleted oil wells, and there we wish to do CCUS activities. That means you capture the carbon from the ambience or from the industries, utilize it for different purposes. And utilization is a very challenging task, and storage is going to be an extremely challenging task where the entire world is looking at us that how much successful we would be. Another challenging work which we are trying to do is we are trying to work on decomposition characteristics of organic soils and municipal solid waste. One of the strategies which I talked about is the landfill mining, but landfill mining is also not so easy because of the fact that the plastic or the non-degradable fractions which you generate would not have easy application and market immediately. So the second thought which comes to our mind is how to decompose these materials so that we can reduce the volume and we can passivate them. So some studies we are now initiating in this direction where we are trying to accelerate the decomposition of the municipal solid waste and the organic soils. Gas hydrate bearing thing which I have talked about in my IGC lecture also is a beautiful example of CCUS, and my present research group is working in this area. We are collaborating with some oil companies and we are trying to demonstrate this technology for enhanced oil recovery. I mean, there was a time when these terms or these topics were beyond the scope of geotechnical engineering. But believe me, in today's world, only geotechnical engineers and environmental geotechnologists can give the answers to the society that how carbon dioxide can be captured, pumped into the geosurfaces, and we can enhance the oil recovery from the depleted wells. And also how to harness the geothermal energy from the wells which are already depleted in terms of oil and gas. So these are the initiatives which are keeping us busy at this moment. And I'll be very happy to be in touch with the researchers who would like to work in these areas. We can think of joining hands together. And because some of my activities are going to be very close to the offshore of Gujarat and KG Basin, and of course in Rajasthan and some parts of northeast states where you have oil reservoirs. So, just to introduce some of my students, it would be a good idea for the young researchers to be in touch with them. Ganaraj K, who is going to submit his PhD thesis very soon, he has been champion in utilization of industrial byproducts for different types of sustainable infrastructure development. He has already filed 3 patents, one for stabilization of marine clay by using industrial byproducts. The second one we have filed for utilization of industrial byproducts for neutralization process. And the third one, which is in making, is how to utilize these materials for creating the man-made soils. Mr. Arif Mohammed, who has submitted his thesis on 3rd of March, he has done very good and very pioneering efforts in accelerating the decomposition of municipal solid waste. Remember, all these guys' emails are given on the web page. You can write to them independently and you can discuss with them. Please set up a meeting with them, talk to them. For a person like me, it will not be easy to handle all the questions and the queries. So the best thing would be, please be in touch with the researchers and contact them directly. Lijit, he is a champion in synthesizing hydrates, hydrate-bearing sediments, and doing mathematical modeling. We have taken 2 hydrate fields, one in Japan, another one in China, and these papers are already published. They are available on the ResearchGate, so please go through them. This is what the government of India is also looking for right now before initiating the methane hydrate harnessing from the sediments. Then another of a student is working on the field of legacy waste valorization. We are creating very interesting products which are known as COMSOR. Is Mr. Goli, who is trying to encapsulate industrial byproducts in the waste which is coming out of the landfills, legacy waste. We say COMSOR is for composites, created from socio-economical refuse. So legacy waste material which is non-degradable is COMSOR, and and COM is for composites which we are going to create out of it. One of my students, Prithviraj Singh, is trying to work on creating different types of solutions for the border areas where you have sub-zero temperatures and where infrastructure has been omitted, since ever. Nobody tried to create infrastructure for our army men, the local population, and so on, including water supply, let's say. So we are trying to derive some value-added advantages from the rubber waste for sustainable development. You will be wondering that how come all these topics are related to geotechnical engineering? Well, that's the point of debate, but as I said, our focus has been on material characterization so that we can utilize in the right manner. Thermal insulation, sound insulation, shock insulation are the major adjectives which can be utilized for the work which Prithviraj is trying to do. Then I have another student of mine who is working in the field of neutralization of red mud, and she is the one who has coordinated this CCUS project. It's a multinational project, and we are trying to demonstrate this technology at a few thermal power plants, cement plants, and the bauxite residues generating refineries like alumina refineries. Then Mr. Srinivasa Rao is working on geomechanical properties of hydrate-bearing sediments. He is the one who is trying to flush out CH4 by using carbon dioxide. So basically his intentions are to use CO2 for storage, number one. Number two is, more than storage, we like to utilize carbon dioxide for flushing the methane gas. And this is a very challenging work on which we are depending upon some of the oil producing companies in the country, and active discussions are going on, and it appears that we are on the right path, including the Bombay High, where we would like to do some experiments. The interesting concept here is for doing research. Suppose if I inject a fluid in sediments, how these sediments are going to behave in terms of the elastic modulus, Poisson's ratio, bulk modulus, volumetric expansion, how the permeability is going to change, air permeability, gas permeability, how the consolidation process will get altered because of injection of the gases. And remember, at a depth of about 2,500 meters, which is of a typical well, the pressures are going to be extremely high, the temperatures are going to be low, or they could be high also, depending upon the type of well which you are working on. So what would be the mechanics of the fluid when it comes in contact with the sediments? All right. So those of you who enjoy thermodynamics associated with the sediments would be very happy to contribute in this field, and study as much as you can. And there's a word of caution: when you start pumping in these fluids inside the ground, the chances are that you may create tremors. You may create man-made tremors, or this could also be known as, induced seismicity. So there is a comprehensive plan of research which is being done at this stage, and this is the first attempt in the country, I would say. But I'm happy that we are not much lagging behind, and our strategies are very, very clear, and we are going to execute this project with our collaborators. And one of my students is Arvind Jadhav, who is working in the field of thermomechanical response of geomaterials, particularly the organic substances I was talking about. So please be in touch with these researchers who are presently in my research team, and they can give you a fair idea about what's happening. Just few success stories, what I have discussed so far. We have utilized the industrial byproducts for sustainable development, for stabilization of the marine deposits at JNPT, where the new port container terminal was created about 3 years back, and I'm sure you must have heard about it. The second project which we did is geopolymerization of the roads. These projects are being executed by my student, Ganaraj, at Utkal, which belongs to Hindalco, and at Vedanta at Lanjigarh. And we are trying to show that these geopolymer roads are going to be useful for creating the sub-base and base course for the pavements. Another ambitious project in which we are involved right now is the man-made soils. These are the soils which are disposed of in the lagoons, and people have no clues that how to take them out, how to utilize them, how to access this place itself. Because I hope you realize that these type of disposals were done by using slurries and by using some chemicals which are deflocculating materials. And at the time of disposal, nobody thought about the capacity issues which these ponds might be having. Another interesting and very ambitious project which we are going to start very soon is mine backfilling by using the toxic hazardous chemical waste in the mines. And this, courtesy Government of India, we have got the approval and what is this known as CTO, consent to operate. We can use this consent to go ahead with our plans of execution for the mine backfilling by using the typical industrial byproducts. These studies are going to start very soon. Challenges associated with the decomposition characteristics of municipal solid waste. I'm sure some of my students are working in this area, including Dr. Kannan, who is very active in MSW research at this moment. And the major issues are that stability is an issue, which you are aware of. Leachates are an issue. Fire is an issue. And what should be done? So if you are following the papers written by my student Arif Muhammad, you will realize that we have talked about some of the solutions related to recycling, which is not possible, decomposition, which is a possibility, and decomposition could be microbial, photodegradation, or thermal. These studies are going on at Kanjurmarg landfill right now, and let's hope that we would be able to come out with some good answers. Neutralization of IBPs is a major challenge for which I require the top chemical engineers to work with me, mechanical engineers to work with me. There's a lot of process which is associated with this. The amount of industrial byproducts which are being produced is millions of tons, and they are being spread over the large amount of area of the land, which every country cannot afford. And of course, the failure of the retaining structure where these materials are being disposed of, and how the physico-chemical characteristics of these industrial byproducts is altering the foundations and the retention structures, is a big question to think of. In some of these cases, the pH is extremely high. In some of the cases, the pH is extremely low, and high sodicity. Heavy metals are present there, and the question is, these are very, very fine particles which become airborne during summers. People cannot live in the nearby areas, and what is the solution? What is the way forward? One of the way forward is neutralization and converting it into the man-made soils. And this concept of man-made soil is also at a very advanced stage. And after neutralization, augmentation of the material can be done by some microbial activity or by some micronutrients, which Dr. Shashank might be talking about, I'm sure. And then this soil becomes sellable. Anyway, to wind up my talk, the time has come for me to contemplate on, these three things with which I started my talk today. And a message for all of you is that not only interdisciplinary but transdisciplinary collaboration is required. It has to be a multidisciplinary collaboration, which I'm sure some of you must have heard when I think Dr. Gajjar was talking about. The time has come when people should come out of their comfort zones and start forming teams of professionals from different walks of life. Not only the science and technology, in fact, you must have realized that the R&D developments which we are doing are incomplete because there are no takers. We never bothered about the industry. We never bothered about their requirements. So R&D has to be directly linked with sustainable development, and sustainable development is, of course, linked with the industrial processes, which overall influences the society. So resources and their proper utilization is also becoming one of the themes. And as the title of your seminar is Sustainable Development, to achieve sustainable development, whatever can be done as a R&D guy, I think we should be doing. This is the Mission IBP, which I was talking about some time back. This is the initiative which I have taken, and thankful to INAE, International Academy of Engineering, who has asked me to prepare a technology roadmap with actionable recommendations. We have already done several meetings with different ministries, Niti Aayog, and reports have been submitted to them in terms of what should be done further. What is the technology roadmap? Where we are exactly today? How much research has been done, but why it cannot be implemented in the field? What are the bottleneck? So I'm trying to do an audit of all this. And once the audit is done, what should be the actionable recommendation? What is the way forward? So this mission is industrial byproducts for sustainable infrastructure development. And those of you who are interested can go to my website, and there you will find a link of Mission IBPs. And please go through it, understand the theme of the mission, and you can register, and you can give me your ideas and suggestions also, so which we will incorporate it. I'm fortunate that about 62 people are participating in this mission mode project right now. And when I started this project, I was limiting my activities within the country, but slowly and slowly I realized that this is an international issue, and I have a lot of participation from both East and West, where I'm trying to understand what are their policy issues, what are their technological deliverables issues which are missing from Indian context. So please help me by visiting the website Mission IBPs and keep guiding me. I need your suggestions. I need your ideas, and which will be duly acknowledged when we create this white paper or the report. Another thing which is in my mind is that these reports which I am writing will not remain only as report. These are going to be theme papers which are authored by multilingual, you may say, or multinational leaderships, and to create an action plan that what is missing and why. So this is the laboratory from where we operate. You may say that this is the incubation center. Over the years, this laboratory is being renamed, and from Environmental Geotechnology Laboratory, it has now become a LAGERIN, courtesy a MOU between CII and IIT Bombay. Between my laboratory, this has become a laboratory for geo-environmental research and innovation. Why I say innovation is that you must have realized that our main agenda is to create patents which are going to solve the problems of the industry. So whatever I have talked about was a modest attempt which began about 2 decades back. And the issues are that there are many pros and cons. You create these type of setups, and you are basically haunted by how to. Subsequently, if these facilities are not utilized properly, efficiently, and if there's not enough cash flow and manpower flow, manpower is very important. Even if you have money and if you don't have right manpower, sustaining these type of white elephants becomes a big challenge. And particularly the COVID type of situation, what it has taught us. It has taught us that when the labs remain closed for a year, almost, how you are going to sustain your research, how are you going to sustain your sample. We were not prepared for keeping our setups on for the entire 12 months time when the lockdown was there, and when the students are away from the campus. We never thought about these type of situations. So recently, there are some articles which you will find in the environmental geotechnics which are talking about education system, how it should be evolving during the COVID type of situation and the situation which might be pandemic. I would like to also, bring this to your attention that recently we have launched a Center for Geoenvironmental Research and Innovation through the International Society of Environmental Geotechnology. Where if you go on this website, you will find that this is something known as SEGERIN. And this is a virtual center for geoenvironmental research and innovation. I mean, gone are the days when we used to do experiments in isolation. I have realized that there is a very strong requirement or the need of the hour where we should be collaborating internationally, because for a country like India, it's not really easy to generate the resources which would be required for doing the research in the areas like environmental geotechnics. It's a very expensive hobby, which I tell sometimes to my students. It's not a very easy hobby to sustain. So this endeavor is towards creating a virtual facility where exchange of information, knowledge, data, even the virtual experiments, everything can be done. So this again, I have created a Google Doc. You are most welcome to visit this. Please go to the SEGERIN and you will be finding these links where you can register your interest, and you can also guide me that how it should be taken forward. The motivation for launching SEGERIN comes from the fact that in the field of medical science, we have polyclinics, we have hospitals which are specialized in different subjects. But in case of our subject, like say geotechnical engineering, environmental geotechnology, you will realize that we don't have polyclinics. And unless we have polyclinics, the subjects have become so intricate that the solutions cannot be obtained so easily. All right, so this is a humble attempt. Again, please help us in growing and making it as a mission mode again. So thank you very much for a very patient hearing. And I feel that your participation, your guidance, your comments, your suggestions would help us definitely in making environmental geotechnics a very major force and for its flourishing future. So with this, I am closing my talk, my address to all of you. I'll be very happy to take your questions, any discussion, please feel free. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your motivational speech, inspirational speech, and guiding us with the various, I can say, branches and sub-branches of environmental geotechnics and its further applications. May I now request any participants, if they have any question or any query or anything they just want like to have.
Manish, I have a broad question.
Yeah, please, sir. Please, sir.
So, Professor Singh, very insightful talk, and thank you for sharing all the experience, vast experience that you have had with you, and your students also contributing immensely to the whole topic. So, in Ministry of Education, they are now emphasizing more research into local colleges, and LD College and other colleges are going to be part of that as well. So, there are about 300 colleges who are going to be part of it in a way. Now, I can see that this topic with your guidance has matured enough that many of these colleges can take up small problems and do very well in those, especially for local challenges. And just for example, Dr. Manish Shah, he has been working on this Piranha materials, and he has done some interesting work on that. But to make a higher impact, there is a need for interaction, there is a need for guidance. So is there any thought on that, how to promote that kind of thing?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Amit, for raising a perennial question. You have to go back to the industries. Industries are the best to adopt it. I mean, I am in touch with the Piranha landfill guys and most of the landfill guys in the country. Everywhere they are struggling with, this type of situation. As I said, these issues require a lot of money, a lot of industry involvement. Overnight, you cannot solve a mistake which was done by our predecessors, 60 years back, 70 years back, 100 years back. So no magic is going to happen ever. Please remember this. You have to do things very patiently. And on this subject, I am guiding central government also, different forums also. This is a time for being patient. Like whatever contributions you are doing, please integrate these contributions with some user agency. All right. And do not bother about whether this is a milligram effort or is a kilogram effort or one ton effort. Each effort is welcome. And unless you talk to your local administrators, landfill operators, industries, these things cannot be solved. I think I am also facing these issues. So don't think that we are sailing in different boats. The boats are same, seats are different. Somebody sitting in the first seat, somebody sitting in the last seat, but the boat is same. The problems are same. So this is the fact of the life. I think if you can derive some message out of this statement, this might help. The best possible situation would be, as our Prime Minister is saying, India should become a manufacturing hub. Create more startups. Motivate your guys, young guys. Give them small problems. Create something out of X plus Y equal to Z. And then, that can be exported. So whatever was brought into our country from the developed nations, and we became underdeveloped, environmentally polluted society, I think we can give it back to the nations in the form of finished product. That should be the theme. So environmental geotechnics, I'm sure, talks about how to take your research ideas to the shelves, ready to sell products. Practice of this, collaboration, bringing in industries, that is the only solution. And of course, multidisciplinary approach. You'll be surprised to know a lot of chemists are working in this field, but they have never talked to civil engineers earlier. A lot of metallurgists are working in this area, but they never discussed these problems with the civil engineers earlier. They are surprised that why a civil engineer should be interested in solving this problem, because this is something to do with the metal scrap. Well, metal scrap I can use in geotechnical engineering tens of ways without importing it from anywhere. Glass beads. I mean, so much of glass beads are lying here in the form of the glass, industrial waste. I'm sure all of you who are working in the field of moisture sensors purchase glass beads from different parts of the world. Why can't we have our own setup of using this glass, pulverizing it, converting it into granular material, and start selling it back to the entire world? Chemically, same. Like, these are the ideas. So I'm just trying to give you my insights into what can be done. And this is how small steps are going to become very big steps. And this is the only way to solve the problem.
So I too have a question on the same lines as Dr. Prashant. Like Piranha is one example of Ahmedabad. Many cities in Gujarat are also right now facing similar situations. And I'm sure that some work is being done somewhere by some authorities, some agencies. Is there any a broad spectrum plan whereby, you know, like there is some sort of a guideline which comes out to the corporations, or which would set forth the steps that are primarily needed? Is something on these lines going on? You know, both IIT Gandhinagar, IIT Mumbai, you are on board. And why I'm asking this is also very relevant in the sense that we do take up projects, they do come to us as testing, but you know, as you rightly said, they come in piecemeal. So you can't map all the dots and get the whole picture. It's not happening.
Professor Gajar, I'm sure that you know the answer also what question you are asking. But just to reiterate what I said, you see, everybody is in a firefighting mode. Who has time to think of tomorrow? You talk to landfill operators. What is their task? What is, you know, bugging them? Whatever tonnage is coming, I have to consume it. Multiplied by this number of rupees, I get at the end of the day this amount. Tomorrow, what is going to happen is Dr. Gujjar's problem and Dr. D.N. Singh's problem and Amit Prashant's problem.
We are able to see a nice mountain across the riverfront, and everybody says, "Oh, there's a mountain in Ahmedabad."
I know everywhere. There are 78 mountains created by human beings, which I have counted in the Indian map. And I'm sure, no worries, tomorrow when you'll be teaching a student of class 2, 5, 4, you will be telling them not only Himalayas exist in India, there are 78 more mountains which have been created by us. All right. So the problem is that people are myopic. I have spent my tens of years only telling people that unless academia is supported by the industry, there is a strong willingness to adopt what I have created. It's not going to happen. I tell you, Amit Prashant is now chairing this SERB session from DST. And these rules were created by me only, that every project has to have an industry partner. All right. Now, the problem is industry says we will contribute only in kind. The rules were created, industry should be created in cash, so that the government pays only 50%, so that the redundant research gets eliminated from the country. Redundant research, you know, the research which has never seen the light of the day. It got buried with the researcher inside the laboratory only. Now, in the process, what's happening is that our industries are not so matured enough to disclose what they have been producing, what is the volume, what is the toxicity, because these are all embarrassing questions. So you go to a doctor and you don't tell him or her that what the problem is, and you say, just see my face and tell me, you know, what I'm ailing with. So this type of situation is getting created. So the problem is you have to bring the industry on board. Please talk to Pirana guys. I have talked to them. Tell them that unless this type of initiatives are done, nothing is going to happen. And do not expect any magic to happen overnight. It takes time. So again, you know, one has to be very, very patient. But good thing is that because of this, you know, Make in India, Atmanirbhar Abhiyan of Government of India, I'm sure things are happening. And if you keep an eye on the DST website, so many joint proposals are being asked for, where direct application of technology is invited, is welcome. So every now and then there is an announcement from DST that this mission is being launched, that mission is being launched. I think you know like what I'm trying to say, and that could be one of the ways. Encourage your students to do research which is applied, and de-link most of the research, so-called research, from their curriculum. Everybody need not to do research. Dr. Gujjar, please tell me why everybody should be doing research.
Yeah, true.
So we have to come out of this vicious circle. But yes, if you can follow some of these guidelines and solve the problem in your neighborhood, that is going to be an excellent way out.
True.
I think one more thing you mentioned about entrepreneurship. I think that can thrive in colleges, LD college like that. Gold out of Pirana, like that.
Very nice.
So yeah, so at least from the small steps which we can take our innovation projects by the students, by the master students, and maybe we can contribute a small bit. And so we'll come back to you for these themes and these projects, sir. Thank you.
Please contact my co-researchers. I mean, like
Yes.
as I said very openly.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm not the right person because the key is with them. They have created all these. I have just been a station master. You know, this logic I used to give them. I have been just like a station master. The train comes and goes. I have to just see the right time. That's it, nothing more than this. So there is a plethora of knowledge with them, which should be utilized by people who are really interested in this. But people have to come out of this mindset, you know, if I do this, what is going to happen? If I don't do this, what's not going to happen? I mean, these type of magic solutions cannot be given by the researchers. And but I'm sure in a city like Ahmedabad, you have a lot of opportunities to interact with entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs. And this is where something can be facilitated. Invest India is a very good movement which has been created by TST in the recent times, and I'm a part of this mission. Invest India. I mean, if you have any idea related to waste to wealth, you can submit it to them. W2W, we call it waste to wealth. Invest India. Just go to the website. This is an initiative which is directly being observed by the PSA, Principal Scientific Advisor of the Government of India. And initiation grants are also given by them, and any innovative idea in the form of, you know, how to convert waste to wealth is welcome. That is something very, very encouraging for the young guys. Cleaning up water, MSW, waste utilization, and so on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your insight.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity to speak to all of you.
Thank you for giving your valuable time and presence and speak